Shalawam, 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 Shabbat, shalawam, Yasharahla. Peace and blessings to all of you. Today, I want to take a step back a little bit and let us have a look at, our feast days. Because as we usually say to anyone, that we must uphold and upheld, that which is dear unto us, that which pertaineth unto us, that which was given unto us by the Most High, Shai, whom the world ignorantly call Jesus the Christ. So there's lots of things that we have to do, we being the Israelites. It's not about taking onto these heathenic ways, their heli or holy days, holidays as they choose to call them. We must refrain from this, as we know we must not, again I say, take unto ourselves that which pertaineth unto these heathens, because it's no good, it's not for us, it leads us to destruction. So as I was saying, today I want to go back, take a step back and look at the Feast of Dedications, or Hanukkah. Some call it the Feast of Lights. You see, I want to have a look at that and just to bring back to our memory, for anyone who have lost this knowledge, which I'd say most of us have, but it's coming back. So let's go into it. So today I want to look at Feast of Dedications, Hanukkah. So 1 John 10 verse 22 is a good place to start. So then we can see that it is something that it's not forced upon us. It's just something that we were meant to be doing. And even our big brother, Yasharahla, did this. And if you profess to be a Christian, which means to be Christ-like, then I suppose this is something that you all should copy, emulate. So we go to John chapter 10 and verse 22. From verse 22, I'll go to about 24, so we can have the understanding. So John chapter 10 verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedications, and it was winter. Salakia Israel. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedications, and it was winter. And Jesus walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. Then came the Jews round about him and said unto him, How long dost thou make us to doubt? If thou be the Christ, tell us plainly. So from here we can see the Jews are having a conversation with the Mashiach Yahushai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus the Christ. However, it was a reason why they were all gathering there. And in the very first verse it explains this. It was at Jerusalem at the Feast of Dedications and it was winter. So, it's winter now. So there is a reason for what we do. But we shall go further to explain a little bit more, Israel. And the Yahushai walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. So why are the Jews gathering here? What is so important? Now, let us go and have a look in the Apocrypha. We want to go to 2 Maccabees. From 2 Maccabees, we want chapter 10 and verse 6. And that will expound more upon what was actually happening here in John. So that's 2 Maccabees, chapter 10 and verse 6. And they kept the 8th day with gladness, as in the feast of the tabernacles, remembering that not long before they had held the feast of tabernacles, when they wandered in the mountains and dens like beasts. See? So it's expounded a bit more on it, because what this is talking about is actually the Feast of Dedications, right? And it mentioned it being on the 8th day. So we are going to go further, Israel, to tie this off. So again, 2 Maccabees chapter 10 verse 6. And they kept the 8th day with gladness, as in the Feast of the Tabernacles, remembering not long afore they had held the Feast of the Tabernacles, when as they wandered in the mountains and dens like beasts, which we have not long ago acknowledged the Feast of Tabernacles. So we remain in the Maccabees, but let's go to 1 Maccabees, and we want chapter 4. So that's 1 Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 56. And verse 56 read, I shall go through to verse 59. as it ties it all off nicely for you. So Maccabees, First Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 56. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days, and offered burnt offerings with gladness and the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. This is literally in reference to what was just happening here when it mentioned about that 8th day that we read in 2nd Maccabees. I'll go from the top through to 59. And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days, and offered burnt offering with gladness, and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. They decked also the forefront of the temple with crowns of gold and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed, and hanged doors upon them. Verse 58. Thus was very great gladness among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away. Verse 59. Moreover, Judas and his brethren, with the whole congregation of Israel, ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year, by the space of 8 days, from the 25th day of the common zealous mirth and gladness. I shall read that bit again, Israel, with more clarity from the comma. From the 25th, meaning the 25th day of the month Keslu, which we are in now, the mirth and gladness. And Keslu is the 9th month. So we know the time for the Feast of Dedications, but now we also know where to go to find what we need to know why the Feast of Dedication had occurred in the first place. This is all down to our brothers, the Levites. I would also consider this the last time Israel stood as a united unit, nearly united unit, against the heathens and prosper. So from there, Israel, I want to go a little bit further. We can go to Daniel, for Daniel foresaw all that we have read so far, all that we have gone into in regards to the Feast of Dedications. Daniel saw all this in a vision. So we can go there now and we can have a look at that as another reference point in regards to pinning it down. So we have no confusion. So we want Daniel chapter 8 and verse 8, Israel. So Daniel chapter 8 and verse 8 through to verse 14. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great when he was strong. The great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 noble ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. This is going into Alexander the Greek. You may know him as another name. I choose to call him the Greek. So yeah, Alexander the Greek is what it is talking about. And if you want to know anything about Alexander the Greek and what he was up to and all that was taking place with our people in this period of time, you ought to go to the Apocrypha, where you will find 1st Maccabees and 2nd Maccabees, which explains and expounds upon these things. Not just there, but it's a good starting point. So from Daniel chapter 8, verse 8 to 14. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of the earth. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great, toward the south, toward the east, towards the pleasant lands. And it waxed great, even the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host of the stars to the ground, and stomped upon them. Yea, he magnified himself, even to the prince of the host, and by him the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his sanctuary was cast down. And an host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, and it came and it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking to another, saying, Say unto the certain saint which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, and the transgression of the desolation, to give both sanctuary and host to be trodden under foot? In verse 14, and he said unto me, Unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. So this is Daniel seeing what was to come, what was to happen to the Maccabees, and this is a really good account of it. For this is exactly what had happened in regards to our brothers, the Maccabees, the Levites, in this period of time. So again, when you get the chance, if you have not done so already, go and have a look at the Maccabees 1 and 2. Check it all out because it covers the whole thing. It's history that has actually happened. So what Daniel is seeing here has actually now been fulfilled. It has happened already. And we're going to go and get a little bit more account of it so we can see that this prophecy has actually come to pass. So if we want to pick a little bit more at these verses that I've just read, it did indeed mention about stars and that they dragged a certain amount of them to the ground and they were trodden down for, and it suggests that this shall happen for a period of time. Now, this star, who is it in reference to? Israel. Let us go through and find reference of star and to whom or what people that pertaineth to. So the first place I want to go to is Revelation chapter 12. So we are in Revelation chapter 12 and we go from 1 to 4, Israel. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, the great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. The dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now, Israel, I allude to you that the woman is Israel. It is talking about us, the stars, Yasharahla. That is also pertaineth unto us. I could go deeper in this, but this will lead me into a different topic, which I will go into in a class that is coming up. I will indeed go into that because it is quite deep, but I don't want to stray away from the point I'm trying to make here. So the stars is a people. I go from 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. I say to you that this is the 12 tribes of Israel. But again, Israel, I can go into this a bit more in another lesson. I just want to show why I'm saying what I'm saying. So we identify the stars with Israel. And if we go back into the Apocrypha, where we find the book of the Maccabees, we want 1 Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 36 should expound upon this. So that's 1 Maccabees chapter 4 and 36, Israel. Verse 36. Then said Judas and his brethren, Behold, our enemies are discomfited. Let us go up to cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary. This was what we read in Daniel, where it was talking about when the temple, the sanctuary was going to be cleansed of the heathen. This is what it's talking about. So again, I say to you, if you want to have the good enough understanding of what's really going on here, you have to go to the Apocrypha, get into the book of the Maccabees, which expound upon all of this, and then you will understand why the Feast of Dedication is something we do. But again, like I say, Israel, let's hold on to what belongs to us. Let us practice the things that belong to us. And again, should we practice the Feast of Dedications? Why not? Mashiach Yahushai, whom the world illiterally called Jesus the Christ, himself did this. So Israel, with that I shall leave you, Israel. Enjoy this period of time, Israel, because you know what it is? We got seven days, basically, where we give reverence and thanks and remembrance to our brethren that stood tall for us, and to give reverence unto the Most High. Mashiach Yahushai, thy brother, thy Savior, because we must give thanks, for the Most High has given us our salvation. So with that, Israel, I bid you, Israel, I bid you farewell until the next one. Shalawam.